Greetings, this is Jazz for JazReviews with a quick little roundup of games that either impressed or intrigued me the most. Bear in mind these are games that actually created a whole new presence on the floor alone, and that at least strive to do something new. These are 10 titles that boasted brand new gameplay footage for E3 2014, so we won't be including titles like Uncharted 4 and Halo 5. But kicking off at number 10. An IP forged upon the PlayStation 3's launch. That feel-good creativity will once again be captured with a new era of consoles, Little Big Planet 3. The all-new characters are the big things to talk about here, which will completely redefine user creativity with the levels themselves. Oddsock plays extremely fast and can both wall jump and slide, whilst Toggle is able to switch down to a very tiny form to scurry through small spaces and tunnels. Swoop, on the other hand, has one specific purpose: he can fly. This little guy can access the otherwise unreachable places, as well as pick up objects and other characters. 3 new characters are a big thing for LBP, with endless possibilities in platforming. But it's one of those games you definitely have to check out for yourself, just to realize the magnitude of possibilities in this sequel. At number 9. Battlefield Hardline. Of course, I amongst many gamers now have had the chance to play the beta to Hardline. With just about everything at E3, all the staged demos are, well, staged, scripted. E3 footage for Hardline does look insane. Of course, it never turns out quite as tight or hectic as this. But all the same, with 2 game modes, Blood Money and Heist, it is really weird seeing this cops and robbers game unfold with crazy new gadgets like grappling hooks and ziplines. Hardline offers a fresh perspective in battlefield shooting that I think will be different enough to interest those sick of all-out military shooters. But we'll have to see just how much scope Hardline will have in the future, and whether or not it'll be able to stand on its own 2 feet without feeling like an add-on to the same Battlefield formula. At number 8. Perhaps the most intriguing mystery is a title developed by Hello Games, No Man's Sky. It is unclear as to what the main objective in this game will be, but what we have been told entails explorable procedurally generated worlds, all open to the player to simply hop in their ship and fly over to for reasons unknown at this time. You can apparently kill animals, trade, and upgrade your ship or join in with pirate colonies in space. But the questing system seems very ambiguous, if it at all exists. Supposedly you make your own gameplay in a massive galaxy that is practically unique to every player. But my main worry lies not with the development itself, but a nagging doubt that something as ambitious as this game could be cancelled somewhere down the line. So as promising as it looks, I hope that's not the case. Number 7. Terrorism at its best. Rainbow Six Siege. Reports suggest that the game demoed at E3 isn't all that far off the real deal. We got to see 2 teams of 5, tactically positioning and fortifying themselves before all-out carnage. Ubisoft's demos are corny as hell.
I say we breach the garage.
No, I'd rather not. I mean, they always defend it with a shitload of booby traps.
But I think we get the picture of how important it is to play this game with friends, to coordinate your attacks and acknowledge intel gained through gadgets like drones.
Shit, they saw me, drones out.
So I sincerely hope this game punishes that moron who chooses to speedrun a very delicate hostage situation. With all-out destruction of walls and ceilings, and with just the 1 life per round in close quarters combat, rescuing the hostage will be tense. Aside from that, Ubisoft are working on multiple game modes, but there's no word yet of even a single player for this title. It's still very much early days for the new Rainbow Six. And at number 6... Alien Isolation. I've reviewed my fair share of bad video games, but Alien Colonial Marines has got to be one of the biggest fuck-ups I've ever played. This time around, Alien will be made by Total War developers Creative Assembly, but the game will still be published by Sega. As Ellen Ripley's daughter, the player will embark on a journey more akin to Ridley Scott's alien horror, as opposed to countless waves of dumb bugs to mow down. There will only be 1 alien this time around. Designers describe Isolation as a horror survival game, and it does look great. There will be other threats, such as synthetics lurking around the station, but throughout your playthrough, the alien will supposedly act upon its own instinct, totally unscripted, reacting to the player's actions or sounds however it sees fit. At E3 this year, we got to see a lot more hands-on footage, so I'm a lot more confident in its release. The authenticity too is impressive. They seem to have nailed the feel and atmosphere of the Nostromo station. Could this be the one Alien game to break through the fold of shitty Alien games? I really hope so. At number 5. Batman: Arkham Knight. The real follow-up to Arkham City, once more developed by Rocksteady Studios. Shaking things up a little, the new Batmobile serves as a central point to the game. 20 times the size of Arkham Asylum, Gotham has been rebuilt for the very purpose of scaling walls and crushing enemies in the Batmobile's battle and pursuit modes. Armed with rockets, riot suppressors, and a Vulcan cannon, this little toy seems virtually indestructible, to be called upon whenever you need it, also including a remote for bats to control the tank from afar.
No more Batman.
The narrative throws a new villain into the mix, the Arkham Knight, backed by a massive military unit as a part of his employ. Thanks to a toxic threat from Scarecrow, the city has been evacuated. So it's unclear to me if there'll be any pedestrians to meddle with in this world. Why Batman has to stay behind is unknown. He'll have no one to protect. My theory surrounds the fact that Bruce Wayne is, in fact, a massive insurance monger, so due to the massive payouts his enterprise would have to shell out, Batman is merely protecting his business interests so that he doesn't fall bankrupt. But this is the Gotham I've been waiting for, with Kevin Conroy returning for the role of Bats. It's all shaping up very nicely.
Knight's drone forces. Be careful.
I'm on my way.
At number 4, potentially the next big franchise in next-gen gaming. Destiny. Upon choosing your race, class, and customizing your character, E3 footage sent us on a trip to old Mother Russia. Destiny looks stunning, including the same design sensibilities of Halo, but on a much larger scale. With multiple worlds like Earth, the Moon, Mars, and Venus, Destiny will be huge, all with daylight cycles built in. Destiny even features a dedicated shopping district to be used as a big social tower to interact with other players. Destiny plays much like an MMO, integrating other players into your game by running complex queries behind the scene to enable a big co-op styled experience for the entire campaign. We got to see a lot of footage at E3, including multiplayer game rounds like a Control Conquest mode. Enemy AI is the only thing to be criticized at this time, but bear in mind this is still alpha footage. There is a massive focus on social elements and role-playing systems in a core game that will play out a lot like Halo. But the amount of detail poured into Destiny screams long-term sustainability, linked to a 10-year contract with publishing behemoth Activision. The public beta hits July 17th. At number 3. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. After Ground Zeroes and the fact that I've covered and previewed this title before, I wanted to lay off showing it in this 10. But Konami gave us a 30-minute demo for E3, and there is so much more to look at now. Based in the Afghan desert as a part of an open world populated with wildlife and enemy guards, Big Boss can call upon his staff list to help out in the field. Supply drops can be used to knock an enemy out, whilst Boss's intel unit work to inform the player of any enemy movement. This all seems like a completely comprehensive system. The research and development unit will be used to provide for a bunch of gadgets to be used on the battlefield, one of which includes the completely revamped state-of-the-art cardboard box, which is clearly a lot more dynamic in play this time around. Speaking of dynamics, the daylight cycles and weather effects like sandstorms can all be utilized to aid the mission. Upon Snake's escape, a full-on airstrike can be called to ease the transition back to Morpho's helicopter. The Fulton recovery system also makes a return, used to pick up various objects such as vehicles and anti-air guns to be installed back at Mother Base. What we've learned from this E3 is very interesting. Each player's base can be customized by building and placing all of the platforms custom to the player's design. Security like UAVs and the menu commission will aim to keep your base safe from enemy attacks. And apparently these attacks can occur at any time, regardless of whether or not you or your friends are actually there visiting your base. Once again, this demo showed jaw-breakingly fluid animations on the PS4, running at 60 frames. The gameplay was clearly played at one of the easier difficulties, but Phantom Pain seems both accessible now for newcomers and as advanced as any hardcore stealth fan could have hoped for. I'm hyped. At number 2, one of the best looking games of our time is back, The Witcher 3. And as one of the best RPGs in recent gaming, The Witcher 3 is now open world. The game will not be confined by any unnatural barriers. If you can see it, you can go there, including all of the mountain peaks and beyond. Climbing mechanics will also be more dynamic this time around. If the recent leaks are anything to go by, we're talking 64 square kilometers of map. The Novigrad city alone is an ecosystem living and breathing, populated by several thousand people living within its corners. With 4 districts, including the poor, rich, and even one district dedicated to a number of brothels. There is clearly a lot more to Witcher cities than anything we've seen, say, in an Elder Scrolls game. The geometry of the city itself comes across as a much more realistic take on what a real city should feel like in an RPG, and all bursting with a gigantic number of missions and distractions to fill your days outside of Witcher's main quest. Combat looks even more natural, with the added ability of full-on execution-styled power attacks. There also seems to be more emphasis on hunting the big bad monsters, unlike the more arbitrary style of Witcher 2. Geralt is able to track monsters using their blood as an indicator of the creature's trail, stumbling upon other enemies during the hunt. As a highly complex RPG, decisions will have even more consequences on numerous aspects in the game, but the game will reintroduce the characters and spoon-feed the gameplay mechanics to any players new to the franchise. Ultimately, this is a big game, sprawling over a ridiculously huge map. Releasing February 24th, 2015 for Xbox One, PS4 and the PC. And finally at number 1. The multiplayer game featuring a 4-on-1 arena-styled hunting deathmatch. Evolve. The new birthchild of Left 4 Dead developers, Turtle Rock Studios. With 4 classes, Assault, Medic, Trapper, and Support, all including multiple variations for each. A certain level of strategy will be required to take down any one of the 3 playable monsters, with the 3rd yet to be revealed. Both Goliath and the Kraken monster have been shown. Goliath plays the typical tank-like opponent, whilst the Kraken can fly all around the map and will therefore be more effectively played at medium range. Each match typically lasts an average of 12 to 13 minutes. During the start of a match, the player's monster will be weak and will have to feed off other animals to advance the creature's power stages. But the various exotic wildlife found in each of the dozen maps will serve as a threat to both teams. In reverse, the other 4 players will be working together to track and trap the player into losing as much health as possible before the monster becomes too powerful. This is one of the most exciting concepts I've seen in any multiplayer as of late. The concept itself and team dynamic has made for the most refreshing of titles to see this E3. There will be a single player and various other game modes online, but we've yet to see any of that. But for now, E3 2014 has won me over. Evolve, coming October 21st on PC and the new consoles. This has been Jazz for Jazz Reviews with my personal and favourite titles for this E3 2014. I've hung on as long as possible, but I'll be going out tomorrow and buying myself a PlayStation 4 for Sniper Elite 3. So please do look out for my review of the game sometime around the 27th of June release window. Follow me all you want on Twitter, which can be found in the description below. I keep all of my subscribers updated on which games will be covered and when the videos will be uploaded to my channel. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.